What's up, guys? Scott here. So I got something very special for you today. I get asked this question a lot, which is there a certain thing that I do at the start of every month going into a new month to guarantee my income in my coaching business? And the answer is absolutely yes. And it's one of the most important exercises that I take my coaching company through. But what this leads me to have each and every month is complete predictability in my coaching company. And it's the same thing we teach all of our therapy and coaching students as well. And it's one of the things they can rely on to not only grow their business, but maintain predictability and control of their income each month. So what do I mean by this? It basically means, guys, there is a system that I put into place that tells me exactly to the last action what I need to do to get my next student into my program, or vice versa. If I have a therapy or coaching student in our 100K coaching program, they can wake up each and every day knowing exactly what they need to do to get a client. Now, if you're looking at your therapy and coaching business and the state of it is showing that you're waking up each day thinking, well, what am I going to do to get a client? Like, how do I get a client? What should I do? What action should I take? Who should I listen to? Do I need to have this or that? This is showing lack of this very simple exercise. And I'm going to show you guys, and you guys can follow it to a T, just copy everything I tell you. And it's the difference between waking up each day wondering how to get a client rather than, or in return, or in contrast, I should say, of waking up each and every day knowing exactly what to do to get your next client, guys, and knowing that you can repeat the same thing over and over for complete control and predictability in your coaching or therapy business, regardless of how new you are to this industry or how fresh you are in the business. So guys, without further ado, I've talked enough. Let's dive into my favorite tracking exercise. Let's go. So this is a very simple process. And if you're not tracking your business, regardless whether you're a therapist, coach, RTT, NLP, it's really the same thing. If you are serious about growing your business and you're not tracking the things you do, and I mean to the extent of looking at every move you make in your business, every client you get, all the income you get, and working out exactly where those things are coming from and deriving a almost new business plan at the start of each month to further increase your sales. Hopefully by the end of this video, you will see how simple this thing can be, but also why this is so important. So I'll give you two contrasts as I normally do. So usually what happens when therapists and coaches, they're growing their business, they're doing a lot. They're doing the marketing, they're seeing their clients, client delivery, making money, all that good stuff. But tracking is what a lot of people are not doing, okay? And you're missing out on massive amounts of potential. And this really is my super secret, if you want to call it that, as to how I grow a coaching company without spending any money on ads. No advertising, no nothing. And it's the same reason why our students make so much money as well. No ads, no funnels, nothing like that. It all comes down to tracking and looking for something called asymmetry, which is a fancy word for tracking, which I'll explain. But let's start from start. So most therapists and coaches, when they're growing their business per month, this is usually the plan, the steps that they're following. All right, so we have the therapist over on the left-hand side here, and we're running their business from January all the way through to December. But this is usually what happens. We got the therapist or a coach who has the goal to grow their business each month or even maintain their monthly income. So let's say, for example, they get to $20,000 in a month. They want to maintain that because they're happy at 20, maybe want to grow to 30, 40, 50. With each time you're wanting to grow your business, you have to learn how to track things better, which I'll show you how to do. So therapist or coach growing their business, and let's say it is January as an example, and they get 5 clients in that month, okay, which is great. They charge, let's say, $1,000. They make $5,000 for the month, okay? So you would look at this and say, okay, they're progressing, they're growing, they're making money. This is a great thing. However, without tracking, chaos begins. So what they do is they look at these 5 clients, they've made in the month, they get excited, and then February comes along. And instead of saying to themselves, okay, what exactly did I do in January to get those 5 clients? And then, do I want to get 5 clients this month, or do I want to take it to 10 clients, 15, 20, and so on and so forth? So there's really no tracking. And what I mean by this is if they were to track their business, they'd look back over those last 5 clients and have no idea how they got them or where those clients came from. Essentially, they don't know where these clients found this therapist or a coach and why they decided to book you or them, the therapist or a coach, instead of somewhere else. And these are the things we're tracking for. So they look at their tracking and it's like, well, I don't have any. I don't know where those clients came from. So what does this mean? We can't repeat it. One of the easiest things coaches and therapists can do in their business, once they learn how to get 1 client, is to be able to repeat it for the second, repeat it for the third, the fourth, the fifth, into infinity, depending on how many clients they want to get per month. And this is something we teach all of our students to do. You should be getting to a point in your business very, very quickly where you know exactly how you got a client and how you can get your next one. No guessing, no wondering, no confusion. And the only way to do this is to learn how to track. So let's say, for example, they get those 5 clients, they look at their tracking, no idea where these clients came from or how they got them, or they do sort of guess. And this gets even worse. They look at everything they did in that month and they look at their metrics and it's sort of pointing all over the place, looking at their tracking, it's all over the place. There's a bit of confusion. And they say, well, you know what? I got those 5 clients. I should be able to repeat that. But the worst thing happens is they look at those 5 clients and they look at everything they did that month and they start to assume. And assuming does 2 things. It makes things really, really bad and fucks up everything. And that's because when you assume, you're going to guess all the wrong things. Or you assume and you regress so far away from getting those 5 clients because you assume things that have nothing to do with the growth of your business, and it really fucks things up. And excuse my language here, but hopefully you see my point here. So I'll take you through the timeline again. Therapist or a coach gets 5 clients in a month, has no idea where they got those clients, looks at their metrics, too many things going on, multiple niches, multiple products, multiple service, funnels, websites. It's just a chaotic mess of all these different moving parts. They want to repeat what they did last month or grow. And they assume that, well, I got 5 clients and I did 50 hours in a week. Well, if I want to get 5 clients again this month or even 10, I'm going to do 100 hours this week. So they start to add more things, more funnels, more niches, more discounts, more. And before long, not only can't they get those 5 clients again each and every month, they're working so hard and regressing so far away from their goal. Why? Because it's gone from chaos to absolute confusion. All right. So in order to get out of this, and this probably sounds like a lot of businesses because it was me at the start as well, until I understood the importance of tracking, I used to wake up each morning thinking, how the hell am I going to get a client? Like, what am I supposed to do today? There's so much I'm supposed to do, or I assume I have to do. And then if I did get one client, I'd get all excited for about an hour, and then reality would hit in and think, fuck, I've got to do this again. How on earth did I get that client? Well, I'm going to look at everything I did and I'm not quite sure. What am I pinpointing? What exactly am I looking for? Where did this client come from? Okay, well, I can't figure that out. I'm just going to have to guess the next client and guess the next client, guess the next. And we can basically guess all these different moves in our business and chaos starts, adding the more things and everything collapses. That's why you see a lot of therapists and coaches that they'll get really, the biggest part of their growth, if they have no systems, is usually right at the start for the first month or 2. Why? Because they're excited. It's something new in the market, something new in the industry. You're getting people's attention with all your fun videos and stuff like this. But after a couple of months of putting all this work in, you start to get tired. There's no predictability. There's confusion. You can't quite work out what to do. Your excitement drops down. The reality of, wow, I'm not even going to get close to my goal this month or this year starts to drop down. And then the business basically fails and they go get a 9-to-5 job. Okay. But it's more of like at the start of the month, the first couple of months of being in business, that excitement is what builds businesses. But we want to go beyond that. So Scott, what are you saying here? Well, what I'm saying, guys, is I'm going to show you how to do this. And it is so deceptively simple. No ads, no funnels, no tracking software, no nothing. So if this is you, let me show you the contrast of this. Let me show you exactly what I do in my company each and every month. I do this every 30 days. Bar none, and it is the most important exercise. I take about an hour or 2 to do this. The most important exercise and thing that I do every single month to avoid this and get predictability down to the point where I know if I want to get a client, I know exactly what to do every hour of the day. So what does this look like? Well, this is it right here. And there's 4 parts to this. And let me take you through this. Okay, so you guys all know that we do strategy calls. Now, what I've taken into account here just the strategy calls and the surveys that I get booked in. These are not people that just join my program without talking to me. We get a lot of those too, probably about, it could even be as high as like 40, sometimes 50% of my monthly income just comes from people maybe watching a webinar, joining my program straight away, which is great. But let's say, for example, I just want to talk about the surveys, because in the surveys, we're going to have something called an asymmetry marker. And asymmetry basically means this. Asymmetry is the art of finding what you can do, the buttons you can push, the activities and actions that you can complete every single month that have the least amount of energy, but the biggest return on investment. So for example, if I wanted to get one client, but it required me to push 100 buttons, I'd push that 100 buttons. But if I found something inside my system and the way that I did things that allowed me to get the same client, but only have to push 10 buttons, I'm going to push those 10 buttons in that order, the way that I see I have to push those buttons. That's asymmetry. Okay. But the slide I showed you before is lack of asymmetry. It's like, I've got to do all of these different things to get 5 clients. If I want to get 10 clients, I've got to do even more. 15, I've got to do even more and more till more becomes infinite. And then, you know, the business collapses because we run out of energy and run out of steam. All right. So back to it. So let's have a look. So inside our surveys, guys, this is the second question that I have on my survey. Please feel free to copy this. Okay. So I've got my 75 strategy calls. Each time someone books a strategy call, they have to have a survey filled out for me to take the call. And this is my asymmetry marker. Really, really simple. So it says, how did you hear about Scott? And then what I've done is I've listed all the possible places that I can think of, okay, that I know I'm focusing my attention on, which is my marketing each and every day, each week and each month. So I have my Facebook page, okay, which is my personal page. I have my Facebook Lives, testimonials. So I'm asking someone, if you saw me on Facebook and that led you to book a call, please tick that box. They might have seen me on YouTube. I spend a lot of time on YouTube. Instagram, spend a lot of time on Instagram. Word of mouth and referrals, we get a lot of those. Udemy short courses. I have an entire marketing funnel in my Udemy short courses that leads people into my bigger products. So I know we have a lot of students there, or it could be someone even on my email list, or I've got other. So other might be like, I used to actually teach conversational hypnosis about 5-7 years ago, or something like that. So we have people that did my course, my live training 7 odd years ago that now jump into this program. So that other really stands for that. So what I'm asking, second question, really simple. How did you find out about me? Guys, you want to list all the places you are. If you have a blog, give that option. If you speak at events, if you're handing out business cards, if you're, I don't know, on a podcast, wherever you guys can think of, you're on Pinterest, I don't know what other social medias there are, TikTok, whatever it is, put it in here, just list them all out here, okay, and have this question as a requirement. Okay, so they have to answer this question. Then what I do, very, very simple. Let's say I got 75 strategy calls booked. And let's say, for example, they all showed up, okay, and they were all the right fit for my program, okay? I didn't cancel any calls, which is never the case. I cancel quite a bit of calls because they're not the right fit for me in my program. All right, so what I do at the start of every month, the very first exercise on day 1 of each month is I do this. I get all of the surveys, okay, and I go through all the last 75 calls of that month. It could be 60 calls, 150 calls, 75, whatever it is. And I'm just looking at this question and I'm finding out, what did they tick? So let's say, for example, I'm just collecting data here over the last 30 days. So let's say we're in February right now. I want to know, if it's the first day of February, what did I do in January if I hit my monthly target? What did I do in January so I can repeat it in February? And then I can repeat it in March. Repeat it in April. And if I want to, triple my income in September, I can just triple the amount of work to an extent that I did in January. See what I'm talking about here, guys? Control. I know what I'm doing, okay? And I know what not to do. There's no point marketing and doing all these stupid things that a lot of therapists and coaches doing as far as their marketing if it's not turning into a result. There's no point repeating something if in 30 days it's proven not to get a client out of it. What would be the point? All right, so back on track. Gotta get off track a little bit, but hopefully you guys are following me here. All right, so let's say for the data that I collected, I noticed at Facebook, I had 15 calls booked. People said Facebook. YouTube, 25. Instagram, 15. Word of mouth, I got 15. Udemy, I got 5. Email, broadcast, nobody. Other, nobody. Very simple data. And this right here gives me predictable income. And this right here is my biggest fucking secret when it comes to growing a coaching business, coaching company, and even my therapy business. This is exactly what I did. That's why strategy calls and surveys are so important. So then I'm just going to look at the numbers and take a pretty good educated guess and see, wow, majority came from YouTube. Okay. Then it was Facebook. Then it was Instagram, word of mouth. Okay. Well, I can't really control word of mouth. The only way I can control word of mouth is by just having an awesome product. But I can control YouTube. I can control Facebook. I can control Instagram. And I can put my attention in these 3 places because they have proven to me that this is where my clients are coming from. So if this is in January that I collected this data and I collected in the 1st of February, I want to know, what am I going to do for the next 30 days in February? Well, if 25% of my clients came from YouTube, where do you think I'm going to spend a lot of my time? Making videos like this for YouTube, because this is the exact data that I collected. Then Facebook and Instagram are evenly split, so I'm going to spend my time there as well. So if I did good videos in January, I'm going to go to the extent of making incredible videos in February. I might even do more videos, 1 or 2 more per week. I might spend more time researching better videos. I'm basically doubling my time in YouTube. Let's say, for example, I looked at this data and I didn't know really what I was tracking. And I just assumed, remember the assume part of the timeline before, that 75% of my clients came from Udemy. Okay, if I've got Udemy short courses, or even on Pinterest, let's say it's Pinterest. I assume that all my clients came from Pinterest because that's just what I'm guessing. And then in February, I doubled down on Pinterest and not really put much attention anywhere else. What do you think is going to happen? My income's going to go down because now I'm marketing in all the wrong places. But by looking clear, straight in the face, looking at this data, these numbers don't lie. It tells me that I should double down on YouTube, double down on Facebook, double down on Instagram, and it means I can ignore everything else. And that's how I'm able to grow a coaching company and have my students grow their therapy and coaching business so quickly based on the data they're collecting here. So we've got 1 step here, 2 step here, collect the data, 3 step, you just spend your time where your clients are and making better content. The last step is just repetition. This is the asymmetry we're looking for. I'm always looking at data of how I can improve the process, the strategy, the operations of my business so I can start doing less work, but making more money. And the same thing we teach to our students as well. Let's say, for example, I track, we get to the end of February, I made the same amount of money or even made more, which is great. And then I'm going to track everything ready for March. The first day of March comes. But when I tracked my business this time, I found that out of 75 people that booked a call with me, 70 people came from Instagram, 1 from YouTube, and 4 from Facebook. I don't know if that equals 75, but you see my point here. What am I going to do that month? I'm going to spend my time on Instagram, because all it means is my audience have now moved. And if I don't track that movement, I could be spending all my time in all the wrong places. And that's why my business will never grow. And this is probably why your business is not growing, it's not scaling, it's not predictable. And you're waking up wondering each day, how the fuck am I going to get a client? The only way to get that question out of your head is to look at where your clients are. The only way to know is to put an asymmetry marker in your survey, just like this. Have your clients tell you where they came from, and then double down in those places and repeat this process every 30 days without fail. So you can do this 12 times a year. When you start getting really, really busy, there's been some times where I got so busy and everything just took off so quickly and so perfectly, I would track this thing every 7 days. Just if I see the market starting to change. Now, one big thing where I saw the market starting to change was when TikTok came out. Okay, and I'm not big on TikTok. We've tried it. Didn't show much as far as data, so I don't spend a lot of time there. It wasn't by a whim or a guess. It's just I've tracked this. It didn't quite work, so be it. But I had to track these things because TikTok came out of nowhere. It was the new social media. And I knew my potential clients and students were going to go over to TikTok. So I had to get their attention there as well. But as a matter of fact, all the potential clients that went to TikTok weren't my ideal clients. They stayed put. They stayed on YouTube. They stayed on Facebook and Instagram. And this is sort of the data we're pretty much collecting every single month. There's not really big ebbs and flows. When TikTok came out, I thought there would be. That's me assuming. But I wanted to confirm my guess, okay? Could you imagine if I saw TikTok came out, shiny object, let's go to TikTok, let's do this, and I put all my attention into TikTok, what would have happened? Income would have gone down. Why? Because I guessed. So guys, this is it. If you're looking for one of the biggest secrets I have to tracking a coaching business and growing a coaching business, predictable income, and doing this for your therapy and coaching business as well, this is it right here. Now, what's funny is if you run Facebook ads, or you know someone that runs Facebook ads, Facebook gives you a tracking metric. Okay, that's part of running Facebook ads, which is this, but you've got to pay for Facebook ads. We're doing this without paying for anything. See my point here, guys? I'm doing the exact same thing that Facebook would show you as a percentage where your close rate is, where your click-through rate is, where your clients are coming from. That's part of the tracking metric that you can add on Facebook to all your social media stuff. So it can tell you where your clients are coming from. I'm doing this for free. Just a little manual exercise I have to do every 30 months, but I'm keeping track Where are my clusters of clients going? Oh, look, there's a new social media. Are they all going there? Should I put my time and effort in there? Well, let me try it for 30 days. If it doesn't work, I'm going to look at the data. What is the data telling me? So let's say, for example, you've got no clients coming in. You're making no money. Well, you can't track anything. But that's because you didn't track things in the first place. Even at one client per month, guys, let's say you got one client in January at, I don't know, $2,500, $2,500. You want to know where that client came from. You do not want to guess, because while one client doesn't seem like much, if you know exactly where that one client came from, you can repeat it to get your second client, your third client, your fourth client. And instead of doing what all therapists and coaches will do, which they get a client and they just guess, they really don't track anything anyway. They just guess where their client came from. They assume that, okay, I got one client by doing X amount of work. If I want to get two clients, I have to double the work, triple the work, quadruple the work. Now I'm doing 20 hours a day and I'm lucky to get one client a week. That's basically what happens. So at the same time of tracking, you're learning what to do. You're also learning where not to go. There is no point being across all social media, having all the funnels, the ads, the multiple products and niches, if it's not proven to get a client. So you want to track every single move that you make, every strategy call, every social media post, video. You can look at all the metrics, and you want to be following this thing closely. And I mean intimately, because one thing that you do is wrong, the tracking will tell you. One thing that you do is right, the tracking will tell you. And I always rely on data. I don't rely on intuition. I don't rely on what my gut tells me, because that's just a guess. That's not a way to run a business off intuition and guessing. You want to look at what you're doing so you know what to do each day if it's proven to get a result, which is clients and money in your bank. And you also want to know what to ignore. Just because another guru comes out and says, hey, in order to grow your business, you have to write a best-selling Amazon book, or you've got to have this invisible funnel. You've got to have an extra product and have discounts and like lead pages and funnels. Just because they say that, sure, you can try it for 30 days, but if you don't track it, now you're just adding things to a system that probably more than likely do not need to be there and are going to seriously fuck things up long term. All right, guys. So hopefully that makes sense. A very simple process, but I'm sure I talked your ears off about this, but I really want to show you the importance of this. So guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you on the next video. Like always, please leave a comment below, leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for the next video in the next couple of days. Bye for now. Happy tracking.